All right, guys. Well, we are so excited today to be here in Milford at LifeCycle with the owners, Jenn and Ben. It's easy to remember.
Yeah.
So this is a great local bike shop here in Milford. Tell us a little bit about how you got started.
I got interested in riding a bike because when I was in the Marine Corps about 7 years ago, I was having to drive about an hour to go 10 miles, and so I started riding a bike. Didn't know anything, didn't know what I was doing, just found a bike on Craigslist and bought it. And slowly started learning how to work on it myself, and got to the point where when I got out of the Marine Corps and went back to college, I was able to get a job at a bike shop. And I managed that bike shop for 3.5 years until we started this. But LifeCycle actually started about, even though we're just over a year old, we started about 3 years ago in the basement.
Oh wow, it's a basement story.
Refurbishing antique bikes and vintage bikes and things like that.
Cool.
And and then we just got to the point where people started hearing about us and were like dropping their bikes off on the porch
Of our house.
Jenn and I graduated together. That was where we met at Del Tech. We graduated together, we got married, and then while we were on our honeymoon, got the call that this building was available, and we were like, wow, this really is like terrible timing.
What a great
Yeah. So it all happened within 1 year from graduating, marriage, and starting a business in 1 year.
That's a big year.
It was a big year.
Yeah. That's amazing.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and then now we're here, and we're selling new bikes, used bikes. We still do the vintage bikes and the restorations and things like that. We do fittings, and of course we do a ton of community events and all sorts of other things.
So tell us a little bit more about the events. I know that's something you're passionate about.
We love the events. In 2017, I think we hit between 120 and 130 events.
That we got to be a record.
We either like originated or participated in. So events like Meals on Wheels, we were a stop for that and helped run some mechanics. And then other events like our rides that leave the shop 4 times a week, we kind of initiate ourselves.
Right.
So now that the weather's finally turning, we will have rides leaving the shop about 4 times a week.
Wow.
3 of those rides are anywhere from like 15 to 20 miles per hour, so they require road bikes. And then every Wednesday night at 7 o'clock we do a slow cruise like you would do just like when you were kids.
That sounds like fun.
Super slow pace. People bring their Bluetooth speakers. We slow cruise downtown Milford, and conveniently enough, Arenas has half-price sandwiches on Wednesday night.
Nice.
So most of us end up back there to have half-price sandwiches.
So LifeCycle, where did that name come from? It's really interesting.
It was a name that I just sort of came up with while I was driving down the road, and had a pile of junk in in the basement. But when I was working in the bike industry as a professional, I was noticing that there seemed to be like this high-end thing going on where you could go buy a bike if you had $500 or more, and then like this Walmart thing going on, which kind of was like, it was like really not kind of amazing bikes and then like really great bikes, but there was nothing in the middle for like anybody else, and there was no real reliable way to get used bikes either. So I called it LifeCycle because cycle, obviously, the play on words there, but then because there was like a life cycle for these bikes, and then I always like to think that like there's a life cycle for us as people as well, like what types of bikes we're riding. If we're riding a bike, not riding a bike, it's always something that you can get back into, whether it's on a tricycle or a balance bike or something like that. It's kind of something that can universally apply. Like they say, it's not what's your life like when you're riding a bike, but like what do you already do that riding a bike can make better, can fit into. So my whole goal was to kind of like open it up to the masses in a way that nobody else really seemed to be doing a good job of.
If someone's new to biking and they want to get in and they're not sure, you know, what kind of bike to buy or where they should start, how to get their technique down or whatever, what do you usually recommend for the novice?
So there's bikes, we have all sorts of bikes here, mountain bikes, road bikes, hybrid bikes, which are basically anything in between. And somebody comes in, this is a conversation that we have every single day, talk about what they're looking for, talk about their budget, talk about where they want to ride, where they want to end up, you know what I mean? So it's like if you're saying like, I want to come in and I think that I kind of want to do this, but I really like the idea of triathlon someday, then we can have that kind of conversation. Or if you're like, breakwater all day, honey, and then I just want to ride on the breakwater. You know what I mean? And it's like, and that's a conversation, and we have bikes that you can take them out for test rides. There's different sizes of bikes, different tire sizes, wheel sizes, all sorts of different things that we kind of like funnel down and help decipher and let somebody choose what kind of bike it is that they're looking for.
Well, you guys have done a great job here in Milford and just kind of established yourselves in the community too. So we
Well, thank
appreciate
you.
your
Yes,
work, and
thank
we
you,
can't
guys.
recommend you enough.
We love Southern Delaware just like you two do,
Yeah.
and we appreciate the highlighting that you're doing of all of the small businesses and small eateries. And I think together, all of us collaborating together can really make Southern Delaware dynamic.
Absolutely.
Show off what we have to offer.
Yes,
That's right.
yes.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys again.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate it.
Thanks for coming.
Thanks.
Yeah.